Good morning. My group, formed by Mariana Ormaza, Mariana Rangel, Freilerman, Mariana Lizarazo, and me, Rocio Rodriguez, are going to talk about permeability in this video. In this video, we are going to address the permeability of a homemade experiment which consists of a simple assembly with recyclable materials. Permeability is the ability of a material to allow a fluid to pass through it without altering its internal structure. The rate at which the fluid passes through the material depends on three basic factors: the porosity, density, and pressure to which the fluid is subjected. On the other hand, it is important to define Darcy's law, which states that the velocity of the fluid in a porous medium is proportional to hydraulic gradient through the permeability coefficient. The respective equations are on screen. The materials are empty bottle of water, sponge, sand, universal bracket, rule, and finally measuring glass.
Experimental procedure. First of all, it's necessary to assemble the montage in order to make the experiment. We have to cut the bottom of the bottles, pierce one of the lids in the center so the water can flow for it, adjust the universal support in such a way that the bottles are placed one below the other. Place test tube under the two bottles. To adjust the materials, it is necessary to place the sponge as the bottom of the lower bottle. Fill the rest of the bottle with permeable material. And for making the experiment, we have to fill the upper bottle with water without letting the water pass through yet. And once the bottle is filled with water, allow the water to pass through the hole in the cap. Take the time and the rotation volume.
Well, for the first part of experience, we use the meshing. This, for screening process, was carried out to know the measurements of particle and what their approximately size will be. So for the all the process we carried out was the cutting of the bottles, since it was necessary to allow the passage of water. After this, the whole part of the assembly was carried out in the laboratory. The sand was washed in such a way to have the sand particle clean, until the water with which it was washed come out transparent, removing the fine parts of the sand to find only the rocks. Despite this, the sand continued to come out yellow. Sand is a fine type or granular material. Construction sand was used that contains different components different to the sand. So this is added to the bottle on the sponge in such a way that the sand does not come out for the lower part of the bottle, because it is kept with the mouthpiece open in such a way that when adding water from the upper part of the bottle, its sand and the sponge will absorb it, and only the water that managed to pass from this will pass, collecting in the end a smaller volume than the one initially added to the system. Uh, this uh, this have a duration of 6 minutes approximately, and we collect in the ending of experiment uh, 600 uh, we collect 600 milliliters in the recipients, and initially the volume that we have are 800 milliliters too. So in the sand, the water that contains the sand was 200 milliliters.
The speed which water passes through the sand depends on the porosity of the sand, the density of the water, and the pressure to which the fluid is subjected. Sand is permeable material because, as you can see, it allows water to pass through it, just like a sponge. As we can see, the sand was a little wet and somewhat compact.
The characteristics of the permeated solid influence the experimental development. Properties as viscosity, density, diameter size, sphericity, void fraction are some that allow visualizing the permeability constant, rotation time, speed, etc.
The results are these.